Since when are you streaming, Frost?
I do it sometimes.
Sometimes, yes.
Like
Okay.
a giant, like,
Once in a
30
blue
rig,
moon.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Giant
Outcast was streaming
30.
during yesterday's or Monday's potluck, and I got to watch from his perspective as he and the entire platoon wiped out 30 helicopters. It was fun.
How's that fun? Sounds boring.
Well, the
Wait,
mission revolved around them clearing out 2 towns, and then in order to bait
Yeah, right,
in
Farkle,
the
thanks for dropping by.
enemy's air force of helicopters that they were planning to use in case a position got taken. So, and we had an AA position down, so we killed their towns, went up to the AA position, and pretty much dunked about 30 plus helicopters using stinger chairs and other stingers.
Alright, I'm gonna push through. Hopefully the other guys make it in time for the actual like looting portion, but I want to get the other 2 things tested, so.
Yes. Excellent.
We're just gonna chill at base as everything loads in, because I found that the server takes like up to 2 minutes to actually like load in every single thing, and it does loot calculations last.
Ah, fair enough.
Fair enough.
By the way, Liru, is that this? Oh, just gonna say, is that the CDF drones dealt with, or are they about to pull a Billy Mays? Say, but wait, there's more.
Well, wait, there's more. Do you want me to pull a Billy Mays?
No.
They're painful. I'm expecting the UNSC cruiser to just shove 4 of them into play.
Hey, you killed one.
We'll
There's
see.
5 more that are coming.
Just a Hydra.
If you want, I could take Billy Mays, I could turn him into a PAA file and retexture the drones to be
Oh,
Billy
no.
Mays.
No.
That's
horrifying.
That would just be concerning if the soundbite after every 3rd missile. But wait, there's more.
Only if you can make.
I could put a loop
It's a large IED.
of an MP3. No, it would be OGG audio. Hi, Billy Mays here with another HE rocket in your face.
Honestly, I would love it, but I know everyone else would hate it.
All right, pushing us in.
What have I done?
All right, guys, chill. Just chill for a second. Don't loot the tent. Just chill here. We're gonna let everything initialize on the server, and then we're gonna do a little bit of testing here and there. Beep beep. Get on the server.
I'm doing so. Stop yelling.
I wasn't yelling. What? What are you doing?
Human tower.
Trying to armor themselves in the tent.
Asking for a lightning bolt.
All right, when I see a freaking helicopter crash site, I'll teleport us over and
Test. Alright. When they spawn.
They spawn.
If
they do.
Well, they should spawn,
But we're gonna, because I don't want us to crash while the server's editing stuff, so we're gonna do it via teleport poll. I just gotta wait a second.
Don't go in.
If all
oh god, magical one.
wow goes as planned.
Kiss the pull.
Alright, so camps are spawned, it's spawning the animals now, and then it'll spawn the other stuff, so.
Clearly, you don't remember what has happened to people in your position before. They go on a skydiving course generally.
Usually. Yes.
So another project I might do from September to October is turn server 1 into a dedicated server for this, but I gotta talk to Wolf about it, and then we'll see.
I hope people would actually use it.
So kind of like a better DayZ?
Pretty much a better Daisy, yeah.
Yeah, I would dig it.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm a free DayZ edition.
Alright, so... Oh, this is perfect because there's an AI camp over there as well. So I'm setting those guys to hold fire. Take the teleport pole to Bravo.
before they don't hold fire. Ah, we're inside.
Okay.
Ah,
Oh god, it put us inside. Well, that's awkward.
Help! Wait,
Oh,
I'm
my
actually...
leg.
All right, come on, bail out.
Your leg.
All right, so some of you got armored, so that's okay. Let me heal.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, hold face.
Ignore. Let me know if the zombies get too close. But I'm going to search this thing, so no one else get in my way or search it right now, because I'm just testing.
Like the done ones, yeah.
All right, so can you guys now search it? Can you search the helicopter? Whoa, it dropped a shit ton of boxes. Okay.
No, each person that does it gets a box.
Another one.
Yeah.
So everyone can loot it. Okay, that's...
A little broken.
Everyone can, and everyone gets a box.
I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world, because for 8 people...
It's mine.
These are probably rare,
Fits.
right?
There are more.
Yeah, these are more the rare things. So, okay, everyone can loot it and look for something. I guess that's just part of Ravage's framework. That's okay. So, yay, we can each get a box. Wonderful. There's probably a way to fix that. I just have no idea.
Oh my god, let's go.
There's AP mines in all of them.
No.
Oh no, there isn't.
No, it's all from different pools, so...
AP mines in
Oh, I have a tire, yay.
Alright, where did I put the damn... Where was our base? There it is. No, it isn't. Fuck.
Been a long day.
You know what? That's okay. Where's the pole? Okay, it's in a different section. Well, screw me. 1 second. I'm gonna go grab the pole, because I think it disappeared because of ZEI stuff. Laser! Okay, so that's dynamic, so that's kind of funny. I don't mind if the chopper crashes are dynamic. That would actually be cool because it means that, you know, people can all loot stuff. Alright, don't move around too far because there's some boom booms around, but I don't care about that. Just chill here. Don't walk around too far. Just, if someone wants to go through the pole and tell the rest of them to come through.
Don't walk too
All
far
right.
from here, please.
So I'm going to end key these AI. No one touch their inventories. I just want to see. Oh, yeah. So they... Yep, so that's client side then. So for every time there's a player nearby, it reruns the script. So essentially what I have to do is...
Oh no.
Wow.
Oh no.
Oh my
That's a lot of ammo.
No.
I think that's that's overfilling the vest.
Oh my god.
Holy crap.
Doomsday rounds? Ooh.
Wow.
Okay with this?
And that is even physically spawning doomsday rounds. Okay.
Wait.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to look for ways to fix that. But anyway, you guys are going to get mad, but we're going to respawn.
Didn't even hear it.
Maloo.
Such is life in the such is life in the zone.
Yes.
Welcome to
Holy
the zone.
shit! Hello, people.
Human
What
tower.
the hell?
That's quick.
You're late.
Brady got the best.
Multiplayer save was created for the server. Wait, what?
Apparently.
Again? Didn't that happen earlier? No.
What?
Just yeah, because we died, it's a new multiplayer save because it's a new life, so it resets your save, so you can't glitch it when you die.
Makes sense.
Ooh.
All right, so what we're going to do now, guys, is we are going to commence the 40 minutes or 45 minutes of looting. So feel free to take what you need from the tent, form up in your groups. In 45 minutes, I will say on side chat, we're all going to, you guys are going to soft log from the server, and then we're going to hard log from the server. Soft log means you just leave back to the role selection screen, and then enter back in, and then hard log is you'll physically leave the server and come back, and we'll see what that does. We're not testing the databasing stuff yet, we're just testing what a module in Ravage does, because I just want to see what it does in a dedicated server. So, any questions?
Makes sense.
All right, well,
How do we take care of food and water and shit? Cause
you double click it when you have it in your inventory. Same if you're fueling a Vic or whatnot.
I just drank some water.
I'm gonna die.
I've got a
Yeah,
gun,
Moxie.
so whoever wants to follow me, follow me.
Hold on. Come on, Moxie, let's go.
Yes.
Do we have to go in groups? Whatever.
One of them's running off on their own. All right, so the ammo issue, I don't know how I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna have to basically like take away all of the additional mags, and we're gonna have to go from there. But that's okay. So let me actually write this down because this is important. Because it's only the AI gun mags. It's not duping a bunch of items, so I guess that script is just on a trigger for every player present, which is fine. I can just take away the additional mags and that should fix it. But I'm also going to hide myself. What time is it? It's... So at 6 o'clock, we'll have them go away. But yeah, next week I will start the funding of 1, possibly 2 projects regarding more zombie stuff. One for a 700th project, and the other for a TSB open server project. So they'll probably be... the server might be a G, and the 700th one will probably be half a G, but we'll get there when we get there. So, Mr. Memes, basically what Project 12 is a special campaign for both the 506 Secret Squirrel and TSB T3s. And it's going to be an 8 to 12 person survive campaign. I'm still working on an end goal with Drumheller, who's the head of the 506. But it's either going to be a escape the islands, or find the cure, or meet up with the military. There's a few different avenues we can work on. So right now we're building the framework for everything. So we've got 2 different sets of custom drop tables. Oh, frickin' Shadow Wolf there is getting mauled. There's 2 different sets of looting. There's the Ravage system and a Vanderson's. I butchered his name. It's called something else, but Vanderson's Apocalypse. I'm just gonna call him Vanderson. So Vanderson's Apocalypse stuff spawns on the floor. And with Ravage, stuff spawns in barrels and items and desks and whatnot. So for today's test, I have turned down the Vanderson's loot to a 1% drop per area, per building. So every spot where loot can drop, it's a 1% chance. However, it drops client side. So for every client that's there, things drop. So it can compound. What we saw in the last loot test was when, 20 people went to a town, I had it at 10%, and loot was everywhere. So now I'm tweaking it to 1% to see what we get, and I want to see what they get at the end of the jig. So Laser Wrath, he's getting mauled.
Damn.
I just knocked him down off the wall. Ooh, yeah, the zombies, I buffed their health a little bit more. I took it from a 3 to a 4 in the multiplier. But yeah, there's a medikit right there. I also want to see how often medical spawns, because I jacked that up ahead of everything else, but it's still a little on the rare side. But I do have vanilla medikits and FAKs to when they pick it up, it'll auto-convert, but they gotta put it in a backpack or something. So staying together is gonna be very important. But I also wanted to test some dedicated server stuff today, but I wasn't able to get around to it because I had to edit some stuff for Phase 4 of the Indies campaign. Because Alex wanted to be a Kozu's last second, so I allowed it. But even with 1%... Where's Stewie? Even with 1%, loot is still spawning a little, you know, on the common side. Because what Drum wants is loot to be on the rare side. So with 25 people... Actually, how many people are even in this area? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there was a 9th. So loot spawning fairly common for the Vanderson system. Ravage you can't tell because you have to physically loot the items. But, you know, like all of these lockers, for example, with the Ravage system are lootable. It looks like Audrey Hotto is dying of blood loss because he was smacked around by the zombies too. But that's why the players spawn with a little bit of gear. I have 3 guns for them, 2 single-barrel shotguns and a handgun, and then a few backpacks and stuff so they can keep getting loot. So the whole point of it is to survive. But based off of what I'm already seeing with the drop hit table, I'm really liking that 1% drop rate. Now, there are some additional projects that are going to come out. Project 13 is going to be a massive 5-hour operation on a map called Bozkata. And it's going to basically be a PvP event with the idea of looting cash notes. And that one's going to have some different percentages. But really the point, what we're really hammering down for Project 12 is all the framework. Let's give him a warm welcome, shall we? Where's Lance? So yeah, no, I mean, you gotta really stick together here to stay alive. But I also balanced out the zombie spawn a bit. It's last test it was heck, they're glitching through the floor right here. Last test it was about 15 zombies per person. Now I set that to 10. At first I set it to 5 and it was way too simple, but I'm liking the 10. So Shadow's back here. He found an AR-15. That's a good find for the drop table. Also, that's a Zomp pills for infection. But what's going to be really important is me getting the database framework. That way things like radiation and infection are a lot more of a threat. Because it'll compound between missions. And that is what we're going to test for next op. Which I might be able to finish for tomorrow. But looking at my time, oh my god, the Eddie drone. That's supposed to be rare, damn. Lucky them, I guess. But, what was I saying? I don't have to have a Project 12 officially ready for another 4 weeks. So I'm trying to get ahead so I can then work on Project 13. Because Project 13 we're going to do on a Sunday after Project 11 concludes. And then Project 14 will probably be a, a TSB server we run from September to October. So 1 month. So entire month of September. And it's basically going to be DayZ, but, with the Arma 3 framework. And then Project 14 is going to be a 700th version of Project 13. Or, excuse me, that's Project 15. So, a lot of projects. Really going balls to the wall with the zombie stuff. And we're just, testing everything out and seeing how things go. There aren't melee weapons, but at least in this, but there is framework for melee weapons with one of Max's mods. If you don't know Max is the guy that makes the really cool stuff. Like, he has an Aliens mod, he has a Predator mod, he has a Flood mod, which you can't find because he ripped it from Halo 3. No, I think it was Halo 2, actually. But he's got a lot of crazy cool models, and he does a lot of interesting coding work. So, but if you look in Ravage, or excuse me, Vanderson AI, Vanderson Apocalypse, he does have a module that looks for the chances for something defined as max melee weapon. So I'm willing to bet that he has melee weapons somewhere. But I also know, just heard a gun go off, there is a mod, or excuse me, Max might have done work for the Fallout mod to add melee weapons. But yeah, we also got custom uniforms for the zombies all set up. We finished that because otherwise they all looked like NATO zombies instead. And also the walker to bolter ratio is 20%, so 20% of the zombies will run. The players seem to think that's a pretty good balance. They're finding some good stuff. We're right next to a military base, so we're finding a few military grade weapons in vests a little earlier on. So yeah, they're just killing the bolters there because the bolters are bigger threats. But also the Gulf Coast maps, or excuse me, buildings, they don't have any gear pool data, so nothing spawns in them. It said in the brief, as it's something in here, I forget, but you know that info is more so for Project 12 when we actually run it. They'll read that information and know. So any buildings that don't look right, they probably won't spawn stuff. And then the Tanoan buildings spawn stuff a little weirdly. You find more of the loot on like rooftops or rafters. But with the percentages, I am liking what we're getting. And also, what this will encourage, though, is people to work together. Okay. So that's, there's an offset ability. Let me explain 1 second. And then there's also dogs I have to test for ace damage. But there is a way you can offset where loot spawns. And it looks like a bottle of water here. So I got, I have it set to negative 0.7. So it'll go 3/4 of a meter into the ground because a lot of the loot was floating. But this is why we're testing, because now it's saying if I set that too low, then some of the loot will go into the ground and not be pick-upable. So I gotta have some of the loot float in some buildings to make that balanced. Let's give him a warm welcome, shall we? So, item in the ground, there is an option in Vanderson's AI, or excuse me, his Apocalypse mod, that sets a minimum range so that things don't spawn within X meters of a person. So, I turned that off just to see what it would do. So, yeah, that needs to be turned back on. Set range of no spawn for loot to, I'm gonna say 15 meters. Alright, I'm writing these all on notepads. Why is Fred saying help? Well, he didn't ping me. Shadow might be in trouble here, he's just attracted a small horde. So yeah, Shadow, he's just trying to survive with his AR-15. But the zombies, what's cool about them is every zombie that's killed, you have a 5% chance to loot it for something. It's usually crap, but you can find spare magazines or food and water off of them. Let's give him a warm welcome, shall we? Liru, what's the pay for pay thing? So we're going to go onto the Friday mission file for pay for paying. We're going to talk about what we want to put on the menu and what to price it out as. So you guys are going to help me with that. So if you guys want like super scripted buffed vanilla units, we have that. If you want rescripted tanks to fire 35mm from a GAU 8 from an A10, we can make that. We can do some crazy stuff, and we're gonna basically work on that until like 8 p.m. and then I'll pass drum the mission file for the 506 stop. Memes, I wouldn't say I'm one of the best. There's a lot of people that have a better grasp of mission making than me, but this is my attempt to kind of learn and make my own missions better because of it. So, you know, I'll get there eventually. But you know, I gotta work for it. He's gonna be more specific than that. These guys might actually be getting to the 250 zombie maximum here. So Silver's, oh, I gotta teleport in and listen to this. He's gonna go up to the crash site, but there's some AI around it, and he's unarmed. Oh. One has a double-barrel shotgun and one has an M24 Remington. Oh, that's funny. Is he gonna try to bait them so they run out of ammo? That's... Oh! Oh! I just want you to know the one with the frickin' one out of Remington, an M24, and he just no-scoped your ass so hard. Oh. I don't think you're waking up from that one, buddy. I'm sorry. Oh. Like, one of them's literally body camping you. Here. I'm a merciful God. But you're gonna have to run. Did you hear that when he woke up? He did the frickin' Zoidberg. I love my players, man. But yeah, I need these guys to space out a bit more because they're still so close that the zombies are being very dynamic in their spawn ratios, you know? But what I'm liking about this drop table is if you stick together with people, you're more likely to find something. So it's almost like a karma thing, you know? So if you work together with other players, you'll get more gear. Jesus, look at this horde size. So, by the way, the uniforms are a mix of RHS uniforms. There's a few with CBRN. There's a lot of civilian ones, and then occasionally there's a ghillie suit zombie, but there's even a Chad. Look at this horde. Holy crap. I think 10 zombies is the perfect number, because they do horde very well. I like it. I know, right? But people can act friendly together and backstab each other. And when I work on Project 14, That's going to be the go-ahead. But I'm not announcing Project 14 until after Pay for Pain, because I want everyone to save their money for Pay for Pain. And then, so we'll probably start development of that on Sunday, because I take Saturdays off, and Bay wants to spend some time with me, which... Oh, get yourself a Bay that would love to spend time with you. Oh, look, some shotgun shells. You just gotta find a shotgun. There's some loot over there, too. But yeah, even at 1%, this is the lowest I can set everything. Loot is still a little on the plentiful side if you go as a group, so that's good. Yeah, and the zombies do howling and all this cool stuff. If you look under Ravage, it'll state who made what. I think it was Bad Benson that did the zombies? I don't know. But he's another name you hear as one of the, like, you know, big modders that makes cool stuff. But I'm not going to announce Project 14 until I can test the server framework and make sure it's good. And if I know it's good, then I know I can, you know, do a dedicated server and it'll work fine. I mean, trying to sprint through. Got a few little weak hits, but that's okay. And then Project 15, which will be the 700th one, I'm not announcing that project until I can, because the 700th run a custom ace, I have to find a way to make the zombies do that custom ace damage. But it would be a 700th version of Project 13 for the 700th. So that would be like up to 70 people on a server killing each other over a Nurgle plague. Stewie, you gotta get out of there, bro. He's bleeding a bit. He's gotta find some bandages. But there's also a dynamic spawn system I'm gonna test when we start doing official Project 13 testing. Stewie died. Damn, Stewie. But also the map we'll choose for Project 14. Yeah, fucking double rainbows appear on this map all the time. For Project 14, excuse me. Project 13, again, will be Bozkata, which is basically an island about the size of this big one. And, you know, we're going to put 40 or 50 people on it, so it'll be PvP intensive. But Project 14's dynamic 1 month long island. Looks like this is part of an AI patrol here. Or no, he's from this camp, so he's just run up and he's shooting. Let's give him a warm welcome, shall we?
Hey!
Yeah, so Obi's talking about zombies going over here, but it's because there's players over here. That's why they haven't despawned. I don't know who just came in here and yelled, hey, but... Cack. I think that was someone moving in from T-Far. But yeah, the max range for the zombies to despawn is like 500 meters, which he's at, but because there's players over here, they're not despawning, so they actively go up and down the road. So, I mean, the advantage of the 700 server will be that, you know, there's a lot of... I have a lot of server resources to work with, because they have, honestly, the most powerful server I've ever seen in Arma. But what I also love about the zombies here is they'll spawn in the, like, prisons, you know? They were, like, someone locked them in here, so it's a little bit of a cool lore aspect. But, you know, who is anyone's guess. Yeah, a little bit of loot spawn somewhere. Because you got to consider, he's the only guy that's up here, so the loot has a 1% chance drop out of everywhere it could potentially drop. So even though he's here, he's the only one here, I've seen loot spawn in one position, and I'm checking the others. But when you, again, if you set it to 1%, then you have 12 or 8 people, that's 8%, and then 12%. So I would say 1% is pretty balanced. But I know Vanderson, he's also updating, again, butchering his name. He's going to hate me for it. Because I can't pronounce how his real name is. But he's making an update for his mod, which will let you set the individual percentages of how often an item can spawn. So I can make medical spawn a lot more often. Which would be pretty cool. Also, by the way, so we are getting some vehicle spawns. Just they're rare. And then the frickin'... I have that in as a joke. I'm going to take it out for the official one. Give me monies. Oh, because he's in the town that literally has like 50 of them. By the way, for everything that's down, how are the frames? Yeah, we're at 22 because the zombies are pretty high up there, but that's pretty good for a scenario like this. That's the lowest I've ever seen that frame counter. But you gotta remember, guys, this isn't the only loot that's spawning. Ravage also has its own loot table, so all of these lockers are lootable. The piles of trash you're seeing are lootable. Let's see. This desk is lootable. It's just 2 different loot systems. The cargo boxes in this building, that's lootable. These 2 are lootable separately. I'm not sure if the desks in here are lootable, but I know the cargo boxes are. Because I've got a cup compatibility on. Yeah, in terms of... So here's another Vic with some broken wheels. I also got rid of the spare wheels in Vic's because that was a little OP. But yeah, so far from what I'm seeing in the drop table, I'm really liking this. Because you got to consider, at least for Project 12, again, they're going to be in a group. But for Project 13, I'm not going to put it at 1%. It's probably going to be at 5%. Which means if a group is 4 or 5% actually, which means if I'm letting them squad up into like groups of 4 if they want. So a group of 4 can get a shit ton of stuff. But yeah, so far they're all sticking to this main island. They're still exploring, but I'm liking this. Cool, so Wolf just gave me the go-ahead to do Project 14, and that's going to be the dynamic TSB server that has all this framework down, and that will run for a month. Again, I want to finish the database first, because the server is going to be impossible to do without that. And then we'll go from there. Yeah, so this is lootable, for example. That pile of suitcases is lootable. There was some trash you saw on the street that was lootable. I don't think that laptop is interactable, but that is lootable right there. That's lootable. That's lootable. And the Ravage drop table procs are actually a lot nicer than Vanderson's, but Vanderson's is a lot more quantity. But the quantities of lower grade items. But I'm waiting for his update because that'll make it so I can put a lot more medical in the drop table. Do zombies and AI raiders engage each other? Yes. I think the zombies killed this guy, but that's a zombie. There were 2 AI here. Now there's only 1. Yeah, so the M24 guy got killed. I just can't find his body. But I'm probably going to reduce the spawn range of zombies by a touch. Because otherwise zombies are going to be a constant problem, so... So I wrote that one down. Just because if they're all grouped together like this, I mean, this is a lot, you know? So yeah, look at all the dead walkers and runners here. It's impossible to tell because all of them are in the empty category anyway. So I wonder where those 2 AI went. So I've been teleported here the entire time. Like, what happened to this guy with the M24, you know? So, Babbitt was coming up to it, but there's a bunch of zombies around it. Yeah, and then, you know, the question is map. I want a map that's going to be a little bigger than Bozkata. Looks like Frisk just respawned. And Slushy found the helicopter. It looks like it's broken. What was I saying? Oh yeah, no, map size is really important. I gotta make sure it's a map with no custom buildings that aren't part of the drop table. What's also interesting is Ravage does have an Ironfront compatibility. So I'd be curious to see if Ironfront guns, like in certain buildings, would spawn too, but that's for a different project. I'm keeping things modern for this one. I would say even at the 1% proc, you know, they're finding stuff at a pretty decent rate. What I'm also debating is I might add left shoulder scripted weapons, but I don't think that's going to get carried over on the database, so I don't want to do that. But, you know, I want a map that's smaller than Altis, but bigger than Bozkata. Like, my mind goes to Bornholm, but Bornholm is too big. You know, something smaller than Bornholm. Have to debate it. But we'll see. So yeah, there's a zombie walking around trying to follow them. What's nice about the zombies, though, is the range that they attack is actually pretty nice. So if you're vaulting a wall and you're at the top of the wall, the zombie can still hit you as if it's, like, hitting your leg. But as soon as you're over the wall and the animation finishes, then he has to walk around and hit you. So it's a little mean compared to something like Ryan Zombies and Demons. The zombie range is a little shorter. So when you go into an enhanced movement animation, normally they can't hit you. Speaking from experience, by the way. So, just food for thought. You know, something the size of Tanoa, the main island, actually wouldn't be that bad. Or 2 islands like this connected together also wouldn't be that bad. Like, the size of Nagovo, but something with more buildings. I'm gonna have to look through the grandiose master list of maps. Someone has a collection on Steam where it's all of the maps anyone's ever uploaded that have been a little vetted. I think because he's bleeding. Or he's low on blood. So I'm gonna delete some of these. Because they're just compounded in that area. But we do have the boats dynamically spawning too now, which is great. I think for the size of this map, the amount of boats that spawned is alright. Let's see how things go. Do you think Drum would put your zombie mission onto a public server? No. That's why we have 4 different zombie projects for projects 12, 13, 14, and 15. Because Project 12 is being developed to be a small-scale scenario, not a, what do you get out of that? Got an MP5 out of that. Nice. It's being made specifically catered to a party from 8 to 12. How many times have I said stop running up the damn stairs? I'm just messing with my players here. Oh, Hunter's crippled. Giant's dead. Mox is crippled too. Good point. Yeah, so he's giving up, letting them eat him. So the funny thing is, medical has been turned up to times 10. Also, what I want to test is I set these guys to custom items here. I'm going to put this guy up here. Forgot to check this in the AI, but if I teleport up to you, now I'm going to pretend to kill you. Jesus, titty fucking Christ. But I'm not seeing... Huh. Even though that's blacklisted, it is still spawning on the fucking server. I'm gonna go to Vanderson himself and ask about that, because that shouldn't be a thing. But yeah, he had 21 elastics, but that's just because of the multiplier. So... I already wrote that down. I'm just going to extend that to everything. Weird. But it's proccing for every individual. Yeah, I'm gonna lower the Z range. Probably make it, let's see, 1, 2, I'll probably lower it to 250 meters. Yeah. So far, so good for this dev test. But yeah, so Project 12 is meant to be a private thing. Project 13 is meant to be a one-off TSB thing. Project 15 is going to be a one-off 700 thing. And then Project 14 will be the dedicated something you can put onto a server. But you also have to put the databasing framework on the server, which is something you have to learn how to do. Ooh, excuse me. You're gonna get eaten.
Aye.
Finally respawned.
I got mauled by Runnis.
I think the ones that killed me just killed me and then walked away.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I'm gonna lower the zombie range of how they are, because everyone fanned out in a bunch of different directions, but they were still close enough, so we had like the upper limit of zombies, and it got pretty cray-cray because some would wander into another group of people, and it just got. There was like a horde of 50 at the place where most of the players first went. It was ridiculous.
Well, welcome to Zombos.
Yeah.
Big keck.
Didn't help.
So I have it set to when zombies spawn, they'll horde together.
Oh, well, you should have just laid down.
Like, you know, being attracted off of each other's growls and shit.
The pork chops are somewhat cold now.
Yeah, well, there's your reason.
Drum tried to put a zombie mission on a public server last year, but the mission mod was really buggy. I mean, I could
Still
build
trying to
him.
survive. Big keck.
If I can get Project 14 to work, I can build him something for the 506. I would just
So
need
what
to
loot did
make
you
sure
have
Project
before you
14 can
died?
work, and then go from there.
Really nothing.
No, I had a group.
Everything I looted was empty. I had a hard
Nice.
hat. That was about it.
Oh, we have a zombie walking in here, Liru.
We have a gun to deal with it, right?
Oh, they stole the gun.
Oh, well, shit. I just shot him with my thoughts. In fact, there's more zombies coming. I've shot them all with my thoughts.
Do we still have
The
the
fuck?
glitch where the animals have the human running behind them?
No, I fixed that. I replaced the script with framework in a mod that is the same mod that allows for the guns and gear to spawn on the floor instead of in stuff.
Send in Goat Team
Alright.
6 now.
Closing
All right.
in on 4 years
We all good?
total and 2 years streak.
We live! Advantages.
All right, so a few questions I want to ask real quick. How often did you guys find medical?
Not at all.
None.
I found two.
Found,
Never.
found,
Ivy.
That's all. Found one saline and
Found a medical bag that had a...
Found a bunch of
Okay, so would you say the medical was fair or it needs to be turned up?
What's it fair?
Okay, so here's the deal. Medical right now is set to the highest setting. So this is the highest it will ever be. So I'm like everything else proportionally has been turned down and meh. So second thing I'll say, looting was a big major doo-doo thing today because I set the proctor to 1% because there's two looting systems. There's one which spawns all the loot globally one time in the beginning of the server, and then there's one that does it dynamically where if you're within 200 meters, it'll start proccing for every person individually. I tried the global system, and it lagged the fuck out of the server, so I can't do that one. Instead, we're doing the dynamic one, but it counts for every single person nearby. So you got to remember, for the sake of Project 12, which is going to be an 8 to 12 person scenario for the 3s and the 506, they're going to be acting as a single group. So that means when they go somewhere, for every person, it's going to be 8%. When I was looking around towns, when a group of 9 were together, and I was looking at what was on the ground, they also want loot to be more of a rarity. I liked the loot system I saw. I will say, though, when we do something like Project Project 13, where it's going to be that dynamic open world 5-hour you can kill each other thing, loot proctor is going to go up to like 5 or 10%, which is what we tested last week, where loot was really abundant when you moved as a group. Because you got to remember, you're either going to be acting as lone wolves or in groups of 2, 3, or 4, so the percentages will be up a bit more for you. So I'm going to do a mass heal 1 second. So here's what I want you guys to do. I want you all to open your inventory and note your numbers for... Health doesn't matter because we're using A's, but note the numbers for nutrition and hydration. And then I want you to soft log the server. All right? So leave, go into the player select menu, and then come back. And I want you, after 2 minutes, when you're all back, we're going to see if those numbers are still the same. So please do a soft log now.
Alright.
Yeah, it's just abort and then come back.
Abort, but do not disconnect.
Yes. I know, Nemesis. I ignore you all the time. I'm sorry. I wanted to get these guys sorted because we're doing testing. But thanks for the 29-month resub. I'm excited because the drop table is exactly how I want it to be, minus the medical issue. But we'll see how things go. But otherwise, thank you so much for the 29-month resub. I hope you keep enjoying the operations, and I hope you get a kick out of this one.
As long as I chose the same slot.
You keep the same nutrition and
There's a bunch
stuff.
of zombies over there. Nice.
Yep, everything's the same.
And they're-
Oh, God. Okay. Shh. It's okay. It's okay. They smell fear, and I crap my pants, so we're probably all gonna die.
Hey, zombie.
Okay, so... No, why? Get back here! Get back here! God fucking damn it, you fucking idiot.
Someone run away!
Okay. Alright, so guys. I see some of you still have gear.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
to the guys that don't have gear, is it because you died?
Oh yeah, I got my gutting knife still. Let's
Yeah,
go.
someone led a train of 10 zombies to me when I started out, and I got slaughtered immediately.
Yes, the people.
Wow,
that-
okay, you're still wounded too. Cool. Okay, so now I want everyone to leave the server and come back. Make sure you select the same slots, though, because I think that's important.
Gotcha, boss.
Okay.
Numbers didn't change? Alright. Someone already said that the numbers didn't change, so that's good. That's good. So, right off the bat, that's a good sign. However, when I do server restarts, the inventories of these tents won't stay the same. But I will do a server restart, and then we'll all join back in and see what's up. Sparta, can you have a donut?
Nutrition, health, the same.
Love a donut.
So everything's the same for that. Should we experiment when we slot?
Hey, I still got my gutting knife.
Yep.
Alright, so we still have all the gear?
Yep.
Are your hunger and food numbers still the same?
Yep.
Sir?
Okay.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to test then. Come to this tent, and I want you guys to pick an item or two and put it in there. I'm going to do a restart of the server, and we're going to see if stuff stays the same.
Put my chem light in there.
I'll put my clothes in there.
Nerd.
Alright, so this is more than enough stuff, guys. Make sure you keep some stuff for yourselves, because we're still testing the numbers, okay? Alright, so I am now going to restart the server, so feel free to exit out.
It's gonna explode.
We
3.
We'll put TeamSpeak up.
Also, I want to ask, how do we consume the food and water?
Double click it.
Double click it in your inventory.
Okay.
Just like it was with fucking Fallout.
Yep.
Also, just letting people know, there is an integrated system of repacking your max in Ravage, which is really fast.
I turned that off though because we have Ace, and the repack in Ravage is very ridiculously fast.
It works. It works.
It's fine.
What do you mean it works? I turned it off.
Damn you.
Uh-oh.
So, Liru, let me get this straight. So, say we're in Lone Wolf, groups of 2 or 3, you get a higher percent of chances at a higher percent.
So let me explain. Let me open my log viewer real quick for the server so I can make sure it boots back properly. All right, so how loot works is it is set right now at 2 different values. The first value is it checks what buildings can even spawn loot. That's set at 100%, meaning if you go up to a building, it will be counted in, it is guaranteed to be counted in the check for loot.
Okay.
So every building has the possibility to spawn something at random. The second value is how often for, let's say you go up to a construction building and there's 8 different places it can spawn loot. Because that building's counted, it checks each of those positions with the second variable, which dictates how often loot will spawn, and that is set to 1% right now. So
Okay.
you have an 8% chance that one of the loot spawns in that building will give you loot. However, because of the loot system we have, it checks that per player. So one person goes up there, they have an 8% chance of getting something in a loot pile of those 8 piles. 2 players go up there, they have a 16% chance that they'll get one thing out of those loot piles. 4 players go up there, 32% chance they'll at least get one thing. You see where it's stacking?
Okay, so the more the merrier, basically.
Yes.
That
So
also means a scramble for loot.
basically, if you go off on your own, so here's the here's the kicker for pay for pain, or not pay for pain, excuse me, Project 13. Sorry, I'm doing so many things right now. Because I almost said it again. Because Project 13 is going to be a PvP thing where you're looking for banknotes, and banknotes are going to spawn on you, and they're going to spawn on enemy AI. At least one. Min max, it's always going to be 1. So, kill AI, kill players, find it in the ground. The max is 100 banknotes that you have on you and at a hidden camp and between your party. So, if you want, you can solo and try to get 100 banknotes or whatever, but you get that money. If you are in a group and you get a bunch of banknotes, it's then divided amongst your group. So let's say you get 80 banknotes as a group of 4. Your payout is only $20. But if someone soloed and they got 30 banknotes, then they're going to make more than you. But the contingency is it's given out to the party, the person or party that has the highest amount of banknotes, up to 100, gets the payout. So if you think you are Nafes, for example, and you can PvP everybody and take everything, go solo. But if you want to be safer and go in a group and take a cut, go group. But there'll be more documentation on that later, because for now we're still testing drop tables.
Right,
Well,
okay.
What about if you just cheese it, where like fucking you tie someone up and then you bring people to an area, but you don't untie them?
If you find a cable tie because it is in the drop pool, by all means, do what you want. There will be a few specific rules about like farming banknotes off of friends. You're not allowed to do that. And then if you're not using in-game comms, because I'll be teleporting up to people, and if I see you just start moving off in random directions without speaking to each other, you'll just be disqualified. But I won't tell you you're disqualified. So
You just get a random kick or something.
no, you'll just get to the end of the op, and I'll go, sorry, you're disqualified, because I have recorded evidence of you guys not using in-game comms.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But I'm working on the rules. But for now, I'm trying to get this project done, then we'll do 13, then we'll do 14, and then I got some ace stuff to rewrite for a group of 40k people. Anyway, server's back up. Feel free to get on.
Same slots or different shifts?
How about some of you go same slot, some of you shift your slots around.
Slot 12.
Call slot 17.
Dang, still my slot like that. Okay.
Because I think Ravage will keep the dependency, the multiplayer dependency, as long as the server isn't restarted. But I wanna just see the extent of what this mod can do.
Right. And we're clear to hop in and go.
I think you have to push this through.
Yep. Yeah, I have to push you through just like that.
Gotcha, boss.
I assume it just sticks to your Steam ID. And
So
not, like,
apparently
slot.
it's not letting me click on anything. Is that a problem?
Probably because the server's booting right now, and you got to remember when it restarts, it does reinitiate all the framework, so the server might be laggy for the first few minutes on restarts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
and then
just to consider.
And then they're
Makes
spawning
sense.
out of the zombies and later as well. So
SSD wins again. First
Yeah.
one.
So how the server works in terms of boot order is, it will spawn camps, and then it will spawn ambient animals, and then it will spawn crash sites. Then it'll calculate where patrols are gonna go. Then it will spawn zombies if it needs to, and then it spawns loot. So you're not doing yourself any favors if you try to cheese it, you know?
Fair enough.
What was the previous loot chance, or the second, whatever you call it?
For test 2, the loot chance was like 15 or 10%.
Okay.
And that was very, very obnoxious. I think we can agree on that. Because you got to remember, guys, that's just one of the 2 loot systems we have. That's just the one that'll spawn stuff on the floor. There's the entirely other loot system for Ravage itself. And I'm not gonna lie, the Ravage system has some of the better guns. It has the launchers, it has the machine guns. Because let's be honest, people have been gone through the military bases and stuff. You're not gonna find an M249 laying around, but if you dig for it in a locker or something, you might find it. You know? Because the whole point of this scenario is supposed to be like 2 years after. You know? The world's already been picked clean, but you still might find something here and there. So loot's supposed to be rare, because that's the image that the 506 want for this, because they were the ones that commissioned me to do this in the first place. So.
Okay.
They actually want a full.
I know for me, when I was alone in that one town, I didn't get much in the way of loot, so yeah. It's
Yeah,
definitely a lot more
that's the
than it
point.
was. Yep.
But you got to remember, so when we do like dynamic server stuff, guys, the loot won't be this rare. It's going to be like 5%. So if you do group up, the loot's going to get ridiculous, like what we saw in Project the second dev test. But it's meant to be that way. But we're testing all of these different ratios because I need to know what will work for what. That way I can balance it accordingly. Because if I were to release a public server and the loot is like cray-cray, you know, it's not going to be as challenging. But anyway, I'm going to continue. Let's see what we get.
Yeah, still with my gun.
I see the light and it burns my
I still have my gutting knife.
Thing is, my only
So, Liru, it looks like...
So, you guys still have your gear? Is the gear still in here?
Because I feel accomplished.
Yeah.
Wow.
And nutrition all work.
And also,
nutrition
slots
stats
does
are the
not
same.
matter. Slots do not matter.
Slots don't matter?
Be Steam ID then.
Now, hold up. Is your health and nutrition different?
No.
I'm back. I'm back. Same.
Yay.
Same boat.
So some of you have like 97 and shit?
83, 96.
95,
I need
Oh, hey, that
194.
12 gauge is in there.
Someone's trying to take that 12 gauge.
So the tent inventory is different because I put an antivirus injector in there and it's not in there anymore.
Player inventories are saved, not vehicular or anything else, it seems.
No, it looks like it was. It just looks like people are taking shit.
Did someone take an antivirus injector out of the tent? Wait, no. This is the, this is mission specific. This is what it spawns with.
It's by default.
Why did it have a fucking Stinger rocket in
Is that a surface-to-air missile?
Yeah, it has a fucking Stinger rocket in there.
Good point. So, hold, real quick. Everyone stop interacting with it. So, did someone put a Stinger missile in there just now or before the server restart?
Before the server restart.
Okay, I know why. It's because this tent is set up as a trigger so that if you come in, it'll spawn loot. Okay.
Since we're all here,
Every time
it's a
someone
big-ass
spawns
percentage.
in, this thing spawns loot for them to
No, it's a one-time trigger, so I gotta change that system if we're gonna do dynamics. But at the same time, okay.
You can just delete it after the first mission.
Yes, but if I change the PBO, then I think it changes everything. Because some of you, how many of you were in last night's dev test, for example? Yeah, so we didn't get any gear going through, right?
It wasn't saving last night, was it?
It wasn't.
You hadn't added it yet because you said you needed to update the T3 mod. At least that's what you said last
You're right.
Yeah, it didn't test anything.
Oh, it wouldn't matter anyway. What we'll know is if people in the next test.
So, yeah. Yep. So we're going to do a test tomorrow. and we'll see what that does. I need to look into Ravage's framework and see if they have the mod I was gonna put into the thing already built in, because it's looking like that's the case, to be honest.
Would say it would work, Liru, if your PBO had the exact same name and you just removed it off the server, edited it, and put it back on. It
Yeah,
probably
no,
would.
that's something we're gonna test, but this actually makes it a lot easier.
It'd also work for your other campaigns as well.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep. But yeah.
It's even saved individual ammo counts through it as well, through the
Yep.
server restart, which is
Want
nice.
some clean water.
All right, but I mean that concludes the test, guys. Thanks for testing it with me. Appreciate it.
Hey, who's the guy with the M?
Oh, hang on.
So I don't want to do PvP because I want to see if I change up the PBO, but I keep the name, if it'll work.
It was stolen.
I'm gonna log out now because I don't want to be there for the server shit.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so guys, log out so the stuff gets saved. I'm gonna index the server in a minute.
Oh, because you've got a fucking AI backpack. It's overfilled.
My backpack's not overfilled.
Oh well.
Guys, get off the server. Damn it. All right.
Fucking run away.
Actually, that's the thing. Like at least there gotta be like a few guns like
Was I
inside
the only
town.
one who walked into AI with guns?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I found a journalist and murked him.
Real quick, I am going to ask for feedback in the Zeus feedback channel, so give me 1 second. However, I'm going to read a small bit of notes I wrote. So if I already have it written down, don't add it again, because it just clogs it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away additional AI mags and items. I'm just going to lower the proc rates. That way, if 4 people go up to a group of AI, it'll spawn less stuff because that mag count was ridiculous. Granted, we were all there, and I already turned it down a little bit, so there were 20 of us. So that's why it was ridiculous, but I'm going to turn it down even more, and that should be okay. The stuff spawning in the floor, that's something I can fix pretty easily. I will be doing that. I just have to set the range up. That just means that some stuff in other buildings will be floating a bit, but I can't have the best of both worlds there. I'm going to lower the spawn range of the zombies. So instead of, I think they're up to like 300 or 400 meters till they despawn, but they run into other people. What ended up happening, because we have horde settings on, is that they formed a massive like 80 zombie horde in the first place where like 9 people ran to, so it was ridiculous. And then someone was begging me to save them, and I kind of just laughed at them. So I'll reduce the size of that a bit. And one of you mentioned that loot was spawning like at your feet. There's an option I have to fix that. It just prevents loot from spawning within 15 meters of you. So if someone new, for example, enters the town and triggers the loot table, then stuff could spawn like right in front of you, and that breaks immersion. So I will make those adjustments. But let me now go into the feedback channel and ask for feedback if you guys had anything extra.
I'll be interested to see if that works for the loot system.
I know during the last one I tried to deploy a tent in the one of the castle towers, and it just deployed itself down at the bottom.
Yeah, that's just tents. They deploy in the basic terrain of the map. You can do some bullshittery to get them to spawn properly on surfaces, but
Have any of you on speaking of the tents, on the dedicated server, have you ever packed the tent and gotten the tent back?
I deployed it, never packed it.
Did it with a sleeping bag. Got it back.
You got it back? Okay, so that's good, because usually when I was testing in single player, it would never give them back to me. So, all right, I guess we'll test that. Next test, I'll write that we need to after we empty the tent, we'll package it and then deploy. Actually, I don't think you can even do that to that one. So,
I don't think they're supposed to face through the doors, but I did catch a zombie opening the doors.
So zombies will behave like any other AI in Arma 3. So Arma 3 buildings, they will open the doors for. Arma 2 buildings from Cup, they will phase through the doors. That's just Arma.
Okay, now that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a mix of buildings on that map.
Yep.
And the fire station is a death trap.
Yep.
But the fire station is nice because you can loot all of those lockers individually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the fire station spawns military loot, so technically you can pull out an M240 Bravo from that locker, which means that firefighter was packing some serious heat.
Just like the old Arma 2 Daisy
soldier.
days.
I only
Right.
find a uniform inside.
But yeah, definitely I like the percentages that we got, so that's good. But I'll read through your feedback. Next test, if I were to check the schedule real quick for you guys, I'll try to give you an estimate here. Let me just look at schedule. I am blind. Schedule, there we go. Scroll up to Thursday, we have... So 1:30 till 10 we're jam-packed, so it'll probably be a morning test, probably 10 to 12. And what we'll probably do is... Since there isn't going to be a server restart for Project 13, we're probably going to do a Project 12 dev test. It's going to be really quick just to see what's, you know, if me changing the PBO or PBO name did anything. Because then I will need dedicated thingamajig to come back. And I'll build that framework. It's fun. And then we'll test Project 13's drop table. But we're going to test it on Stratus. Okay? Sound fun?
Yeah.
Cool deal. All right. Anything from me, from any of you?
The only thing, possibly, I don't know, if you've got the hospitals for bandages, that might be enough, but maybe 1 or 2 crashed ambulances with a dynamic spawn that maybe have a few bandages. I know in your context your mission
So,
is clean, but...
I can't set those to have... I probably could, but I don't know how. I'm looking into ways to try to do stuff like that. It's just difficult. But there is going to be an update soon to the Vanderson Apocalypse mod that handles the loot tables that go on the floor of things, where I can set individual proc percentages per item. And that would be how I turn up bandage spawns and stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. It's obviously the current system you've got as best as you can, which, I mean, at least for me, Liru, what it was, I got 2 bandages out of a couple lockers and a med kit, so I found plenty, but I know other people didn't, so it seems to still be a bit low on the overall.
Yeah.
I think it's just luck of the draw.
What I can also, I'm going to try this, we'll have probably a 30-minute, 45-minute loot test for Project 12 tomorrow. But I can lower, so the item percentage is at like ×7, and the medical percentage is ×10, so I might lower item percentage to like 3 or 4, and then see if that helps differentiate.
I feel like a main problem though is we all went in the same direction there, and
So what I might also do is put you as 3 groups of 8, in 3 different areas, and just see what you guys do to kind of test what, you know, a group of 8 people would do. Or it might be a group of 10 and 12, you know, to balance it out. But that will be after if we see that anything's dynamic on the MP consistency, because I think I did check that box off only for this test, so we'll see how that goes.
yeah, during me and Frost went into that town you were in, and we searched the entire thing and found nothing. Sucked.
Isn't it meant to respawn loot if a player?
Oh, I'm
enters the
sorry.
town?
I had already picked what little was in that town clean when you came in.
Yeah, we know.
Well, the thing is, all of the loot tables are client side. If everyone loots the same pile of trash from the Ravage drop table, they'll all get proctored differently. And the same thing's going for the Vanderson's Apocalypse mod. So if everyone goes to the same building, technically, if they were to see only their loot, It's impossible for me to do that, by the way. Don't ask. But they would all get something different or nothing at all.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm not entirely sure that's working then, because if it was us procking our own loot tables, then me and Frost would have at least seen something in that town. Every single crate he had looted, we got nothing. And like
bad luck.
A lot of buildings, like there should have been at least one.
The Ravage proc rates are turned down. Then again, the whole point of this campaign is that everything has been picked clean already. You're lucky to even find something in the town.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, the loot's low, but like,
It's working in context for what you want, Liru.
Yes, it's working for what I want. But do note, when I deploy this to other projects that are meant for TSB especially, the loot table is going to be a bit higher to the levels we saw in projects, the 2 dev tests beforehand. But not as high. It's going to be probably 5%.
Yeah, that'll be fine, because there was a lot of loot in the last one, and fucking hell, the barracks were just full.
Yeah.
And what is the time in between someone activating the procs for item spawns?
Instantaneous, if they get within 250 meters.
And what's once they pick that item and leave the area, how long does it take to replenish once another person
It
comes?
does not. Till server restart.
Okay, so that's why I couldn't find actually.
You can't constantly farm the same buildings.
Okay. So it is the resources on the map are finite.
Yes, till server restart.
I mean, basically, if someone's already been to a building, don't head that way because there won't be anything there. Like, you just need to, if you see a horde running somewhere of players, you just run the other direction because you won't find anything.
Bear me 1 second.
Yeah,
All right, let's see if I go back to oh, DFAR wasn't even up. So let me give a few shout outs here to the guys that I heard give money. I need money right now. Grounders, given that 420 again saying he would be back. Welcome back. And Angry, thanks for the 690. Excited to see this op. Sorry for all the hard work. I'm excited too, man. It's gonna be great. But Grounders, Angry, thank you. Hope you stay safe on COVID-19. And just stay alive. So I am going to run another few minutes of ads and go. I just need to take a little walk just up and down my hallway because I've been sitting down for a while. I'm trying to fight the little after effect of the coffee I had last night, and we will then open up. Well, actually, no. We're gonna run a few updates for Project 12, and then we will open up Pay for Paying. So give me a few minutes, guys. And we will cycle to the next thing. So let's go ahead. There's the button. And let's play Mass Effect. Okie dokie. Let's develop a little bit of whatchamacallit. Why am I blanking out?